الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Please repeat after me. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله.
الصلاة والسلام عليك.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله.
وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نبي الله.
وعلى آلك وصحبك.
The beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam has said, whoever recites salat upon me 1,000 times a day will not die until he sees his place in heaven. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Sayidunna Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullah ta'ala alayhi has said, once I happened to go to Kufa, where I saw a magnificent palace of a rich man. There were many servants standing in the doorway. In the courtyard, a woman was singing the following song: O house, may distress never enter you. May the people living in you never face trouble. After some time, I happened to pass by the same palace again and saw the doors were covered with dust. There were no servants, and the deserted palace showed signs of crumbling. The joys and happiness of the palace seemed to have turned into sadness and distress. Upon asking about this palace, I learned that the owner had died and the servants had left. The beautiful palace had become deserted, and the hustle and bustle of the palace had been replaced with dead silence. Sayidunna Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullahi alayhi said, I knocked on the door of the palace. The weak voice of a maid came. I asked her how such a beautiful and splendid palace had turned into a deserted one, and what happened to those who used to live in it. Upon hearing my questions, the old maid began to cry and told me about the death of the owner of the palace. She said the inhabitants of this palace used to live here temporarily. Their destiny took them from this palace to their dark graves, and they had been deprived of their wealth and all their luxuries. This is not something new. It is the way of the world. Whoever comes in it and gets happiness will surely face the painful reality of death any day and will be left in the deserted graveyard. Whoever is faithful to this world, it will indeed be unfaithful to him. Sayidunna Junaid Baghdadi rahmatullahi alayhi said, I was once walking past this palace. A woman was singing the following song: O house, may distress never enter you. May the people living in you never face trouble. The old woman started crying uncontrollably and said, I am the unfortunate singer. I am the only person that has survived in this deserted palace. Taking a deep breath, she said, regret for the person who is heedless of his death despite being aware of the deception of this mortal and temporary world. Sallu ala al-Habib. Dear Islamic brothers, the parable of the deserted palace and its residents who met their death is a warning to us. Alas, the residents were lost in the love of the world and were heedless of the end. They were busy constructing and decorating big palaces. They were occupied with lighting up their homes, whereas the dark grave was waiting for them. They were lost in the company of their family, friends, and servants, but they did not remember the loneliness of the grave. Suddenly, the thunder of death roared, and all of their hopes of remaining alive in this world for a long time were dashed. Their happy and loving homes were ruined by death. They were taken from their well-lit homes to the dark graves. Alas, they were enjoying themselves in the company of their family and friends, but they are now depressed and frightened in the deadly silence of their grave. The above parable contains many pearls of admonition for us. Regret to the person who knows that the world is a deception, but he still remains so occupied with it that he forgets his death completely. Whoever falls into the trap of this worldly life and forgets his death, his grave, the day of judgment, and the day of judgment does not do good deeds to please Allah Azza wa Jal, is indeed worthy of condemnation. To save us from this trick, our Rabb Azza wa Jal has warned us. It is stated in part 22, Surah Al-Fatir, Ayah 5. O mankind, verily the promise of Allah is true. So let not the worldly life deceive you, and let not the chief deceiver, Shaitan, deceive you about Allah. Indeed, the one who is aware of death and after-death situations cannot fall victim to the tricks of the attraction and luxuries of the world. It is narrated that Sayyidunna Nuh ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salatu wasalam lived in a palace in a simple hut made of bamboo. It was suggested that he alayhi salam build a nice home. He alayhi salam replied, "This is enough for a person who is going to die, i.e. one who believes in death." Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad. During a